full scale of the room they're in. Like the moment Igris charges at Sung and the camera zooms out and pans around, ooh, he throws Sung across the room and you can see just how big everything actually is compared to how they drew their tiny models. And then they give us a POV shot, like what the fuck? I don't even know why he felt the need to do this move, but okay. Then Sung goes, swords and daggers can't break its armor. Maybe I have to use my fists. Alright, Manny Pacquiao, go off then. They proceed to give us 2 full, undisrupted minutes of squabbles. I can already see the title and thumbnail for this episode. Solo leveling is straight hands. Topping it all off with the craziest amount of line work I've seen from this anime so far, and not once did I have to use a single brain cell watching it. The thing with solo leveling fights is it never gets to the point where it makes me want to use my brain. Because if I did, I'd realize that the fights are nothing more than hype farms. I remember people glazing the living hell out of the Beru fight, which don't get me wrong, it served its ultimate purpose of giving me a hard-on, but all I remember from that fight was shing shing shing, swords clashing, red and blue lightning jumping across the screen. This is my favorite part. This is what 6-year-old me thought a cool combo looks like while fighting my imaginary friend. I don't know how much I have to emphasize this. I am not saying the fight is bad. I like this, but don't tell me it's anything more than clanking swords and flashing lights every 2 frames. Solo leveling is the embodiment of, this would be anime of the year with unlimited budget. You know, if Blue Lock had good animation, it would be the best sports anime in the world. If Sakamoto Days had better animation, it would be the biggest anime in the world. This is the proof. Solo leveling is doing that right now. It's literally in the running for anime of the year, all the while doing nothing new. The MC has no flaws whatsoever, the side characters are non-existent, the fights are purely just hype, and yet that's all it needs. We don't want a deep introspective MC. We just want him to be cool. We don't need useful side characters. We just want them to look hot. We don't need well thought out combat. We just want it to look good. Solo leveling does everything it has to do to near perfection that I can't help but watch in amazement. Sometimes you don't need a thought-provoking story or to introduce new innovative ways for fight scenes. Sometimes you just need a lot of talented animators. I took a long time wondering why I didn't find Sung Jin-woo cringy. I think it's because he earns his powers. By utilizing the level up mechanic and the tower climbing, we actually see Sung's progression from being a wimp to a pimp. He doesn't magically go from E rank to S rank. Except in public. I mean, behind the scenes, he grinded his way there. We see it happen when he takes on his daily challenges, takes on the 100-level tower, stops at a certain point because he knows he's not strong enough, meanwhile, farms bitches and aura at the gates first, then comes back and tackles the tower again. He doesn't clear everything in one go, making his progression seem much more realistic, even though it isn't. A lot of isekais love to speedrun that part, or omit it entirely, maybe because they want to get to the cool scenes as quickly as possible. But I think that's what makes them boring, because now whenever they do something cool, it feels undeserved. If you're gonna make him overpowered, at least show me how he got there. This is what solo leveling does well. Remember when I said he wasn't cringy? Sword Art Online was the first ever anime to introduce gaming mechanics. I also love spreading misinformation, but I could give less of a frick if what I said was true because to me, Sword Art made me feel like I was inside the game. The design of the monsters is recognizable enough to feel a sense of familiarity, but also unique enough to distinguish itself from other anime. The UI is so immersive, it invites you to imagine the endless possibilities you could do with food, weapons, and items, and the dungeon crawling aspects showing different levels and biomes makes me want to explore to my heart's content. It genuinely made me forget that if you died in the game, these goofy-ass goggles would melt your synapses. This is a level of immersion that I doubt I'll ever reach, not even with solo leveling, partly because it's not as good as Sword Art in this aspect, but also because I'm not 12 years old anymore. I don't have the childhood whimsy of believing I could dual wield solo carry the whole of Aincrad on my back. Bitch, I'm silver. I died to the first mob. But for a lot of kids born in the 2010s, this is their Sword Art. This is their entry point, and trying to make fun of and ruin that experience for them would be a slap to my 12-year-old self who got lost in that world. Solo leveling does a pretty good job of incorporating the video game aspect to the story. The progression is linear. He levels up, acquires new skills, clears a dungeon, and gets new shadows. It's a perpetual dopamine hit that's already built into the concept of video games, so the only thing the author has to do is make the boss even stronger than the last until the end of the story. I do appreciate when the author tries something new with it though. I especially like how in episode 12 he's pushed to the point where you almost believe he's gonna die. I genuinely thought this was the end for Sung before they pulled out the "you didn't do your homework" card, and I was like, that was good. That was good, you got me. They even teased it earlier on in the episode when he said he hadn't completed his dailies yet. Some people will call it plot armor, but the way I see it, as long as you set it up and explain the rules, which they did at the start when Sung first hopped into the penalty zone, then I'll give it a pass. Not gonna lie, I just didn't bother learning the power system at all. This anime is so catered to Sung Jin-woo that it seemed futile trying to question if there was a plot hole or not. I would be sitting there wondering why Sung willingly lets innocent people be murdered before jumping in, and some dude in the comments would be like, he has to do that, by the way. In solo leveling, everyone basically dislikes false rankers because they enter lower ranked dungeons. Alright, thanks bro. Happy for you, or sorry that happened, but I ain't reading all that. Solo leveling is like the gateway drug to the system genre. No wonder it's one of the biggest anime this year. I can only see more adaptations coming in the future because the formula is so easy to recreate, it'd be stupid not to cash in on it. If we compare it to isekai, solo leveling is like Mushoku Tensei, where it became super popular, does all the basics really well. When you think of isekai, you think of Mushoku Tensei, and it's a lot of people's first experience with the genre. Then, as you consume more and explore what the genre has to offer, you start to find iterations of the same concept. For example, Eminence in Shadow is a parody of isekai, taking tropes we know like the overpowered main character and actively avoiding that, choosing to become a side character instead. Take that for systems and you got omniscient reader's viewpoint. Basically, imagine if you were reading Solo Leveling and got teleported into that world to fight Song Jin-woo. We are only at the tip of the iceberg. I really enjoyed this anime. I've seen a bunch of people calling it trash and mid just because it's popular, and yes, the plot and characters are surface level, but the soundtrack, voice acting, and pacing are great, and the animation, specifically the animation, is some of the best we've seen in the last year. Doesn't that deserve as much credit as the discredit people give the story? Anyway, I probably just fell for 1 out of 10 rage bait. That's it. That's all I wanted to say. Thanks for watching. This is a very pretty anime. But also, I just shit my pants. Back when The Elusive Samurai came out 2 months ago, I was certain this would be on every anime review channel. Because there is no way an anime with such beautiful art and uniquely composed fight scenes would be overlooked by the masses. I knew I'd have to be the content vulture yet again, scrounging for Giguk, MB, and Scamboli's leftover views. Please, someone watch my jellyfish video. But here we are, 8 episodes in, and not a whimper to be heard. If a tree falls in a forest, people would hear that more than this show. Only thing I've heard is Japanese Twitter wanting to fuck the main character. I can explain later, don't click off. What's more important is how despite having one of the best animation and creative direction of the season, Elusive Samurai is going largely unnoticed. Either these guys are crafting a meticulous masterpiece of a review, or I just have low standards. Why is no one talking about this? Is the story lacking? Are there better shows airing? Did the CGI horse ruin everything? Let me tell you the plot and you judge for yourself. Nearly 700 years before Skibidi Toilet and edging streaks, there were samurai. During this time, the samurai were adept warriors serving as vassals, military bodyguards to the rulers of the land. The Jim to your Pam, the Drake to your Josh, the Ray Asian boy to your Kai Sinat. And one of these names, Ashikaga Takauji, rung around everyone's ears. Probably the strongest samurai of his time, he was loved and adored by everybody in the Hojo clan, the rulers of Japan at the time. He was so respected, he was the last person they saw before he sliced their fucking heads off. Holy shit, I did not see that coming. 1 minute you're playing ancient British soccer with your brother, and the next, terrorists win. Takauji decides to betray the Hojo clan and seize power, massacring their entire bloodline except for one sneaky little minx, Tokiyuki. Tokiyuki is the next heir to the Hojo clan, and see, he has a lot in common with Olympic champion Noah Lyles. They're both good at running. Olympic champion Noah Lyles. They're both good at running. Before he can get caught, he's saved by a priest from a neighboring clan, Suwa, while Tokiyuki's brother is saved by their uncle. I don't think I can overstate just how brutal the show can get. They do not pull any punches when it comes to showing blood and gore. I will. I want to keep my ad revenue. Now Tokiyuki has to arm himself with strong allies to help him take down Takauji and get revenge for his clan. This is very much a shonen anime through and through. Only in shonen can you have children no older than the age of